Welcome to Pickleball, Michigan and Beyond, a show that explores the people, players, places, and most importantly, communities that make up pickleball in Michigan and around the world. Here's your host, Tony Conley.
Welcome back to Pickleball, Michigan and Beyond. I'm your host, Tony Conley. Thanks so much for tuning in. Carl Pawluk is a Pickleball Academy pro. He is bringing pickleball back to the state of Michigan. I found him on Carl Pawluk Pickleball Academy. He's also a teaching pro at the Michigan Athletic Club in East Lansing. He's a big-time promoter of the game. He's also a pretty cool musician who plays throughout the state, and Carl joins us today. Hi, Carl.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Well, nothing the polar opposite as pickleball and music is. We'll get into that in a little bit here. All right, let's tell us about your background. Where'd you talk about high school and college?
Well, I went to DeWitt High School here in mid-Michigan, and fairly decent athlete, but not a superstar by any means in any particular sport. But I played just about everything, and that down the road, I guess, led me where I'm at. But then in college, I knew I wanted to be a firefighter at the end of my high school career, and I went right to Lansing Community College to the fire academy and paramedic school, and retired just about a year and a half ago from the Lansing Fire Department, and now here we are.
Here we are. I think it's pretty interesting that you did that for a while. What was it about being a firefighter and a paramedic?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, being an athlete in high school, I just wanted to do something physical. There's no way I could be a desk person. It just wasn't me. My uncle was a firefighter, so I got to kind of see that firsthand. And oddly enough, when I was about 12 or 13, our house actually burnt down. My mom had to wake me up, and the ceiling was on fire. And so I got to watch the DeWitt City firefighters do their thing, and I just had the bug then. So in the fire career, I was surrounded by a bunch of athletes. At that time, you had to be fit to even pass the agility tests and whatnot. So I was surrounded by peers that liked sports, and we all played ping pong together and all kinds of sports: hockey, basketball, softball, the whole thing.
With the fire at your house, it's kind of scary. How did it start? Was everyone okay?
Yeah, it started in a bathroom light fixture. It wasn't insulated properly, and we had a Cape Cod, and fortunately, all of our bedrooms were at that time on the first floor, because by the time my mom woke me up, the entirety of the second floor was completely engulfed in flames. And so just thankful that I think my dog might have woke my stepdad up, and we escaped, but it was definitely a scary situation. But yeah, we were all fine.
Tell us a little bit about the music career.
Well, I started playing and singing. So my dad was a musician. He played in this band called Question Mark and the Mysterians, who had a #1 hit in like '68.
Oh yeah, I remember that group. Yeah,
96 Tears was the hit. So he was a musician, and I just always loved singing and whatnot. And oddly enough, I didn't really have the courage to do that like publicly until, I don't know, like 10 or so years ago. I started singing in church, and then I don't know, just before COVID, I got the nerve up to actually play in like a bar, and so I had 2 gigs, and then COVID hit, and so that shut down the music career for a couple of years. But now that I'm retired, I'm so thankful that the pickleball sort of landed in my lap. The timing was everything, and so now I coach pickleball and play music.
All right, how did that happen? The pickleball thing. How'd you find it? How did it start?
Oh, so it's interesting. A good friend of mine named Jason, who's a Delta firefighter, years ago, I mean, I'm talking like 6 years ago or something, kept saying, "Hey, Carl, come play pickleball with me. I think you'll like it." And we used to play hoop together. And over the years, my body's just beat up, and so I can't play hoop anymore. I can't play tennis anymore. The things that I used to really, really love, and golf, I can't do those things. But I thought, I'm not playing that old fart sport, and so I just kept kept pushing them. And my wife and I went on vacation, and at the resort we were at, they had a couple courts. And so we went out and we just, were messing around, and it ignited something in me that I hadn't felt in forever. And so That day I thought, you know what, I'm going to play this every possible moment that I can. And when we got back from vacation, I called my buddy Jason. We went to Delta Mills Park in Lansing, and he had been playing for a while. So, my first like real experience of playing, I was playing against like 3-5 level, 4-0 level players, and was getting my butt kicked a bit. But having a tennis and ping pong background, I learned quickly. And so, man, once I got that competitiveness back, it just lit a fire.
You and I both know Jessie Stipkak, who's the owner of Reno's North Sports Bar, but she's a huge supporter of pickleball, has
Oh,
a big barn with 3 courts in it that you teach at sometimes. She's also building $1 million facility at her sports bar. She's a big believer in it. She's the one who suggested I contact you, and you said something that really struck a chord with me. She had been trying to get me to play forever, and I get in the gym quite a bit. I'm an athlete too, and I just thought I'm not going to play that old man sport. There is no way. So me and my wife Julie went to her barn, and we played. And what struck me the most was there was these short people. These people had big old beer guts. These people had who were not athletic at all. And they were phenoms in pickleball. They just knew how to place it. They knew how to hit it where they ain't. And that's where I kind of learned that this is kind of like golf now. It's a sport that everybody can play.
yeah. You know, as a pickleball coach and instructor, I used to say that everybody can play. And that is almost true. We'll say, it still does require hand-eye coordination, and that's something that some people really, really have to work at, and maybe some never get it. But by and large, uh, just about everybody can play. And what I found is there's a spectrum of people. Once you start to play, you realize where you're at on this spectrum. Are you a socialite that just loves going out, having a good time, just getting some exercise? Or are you like me, this competitive person that really, I mean, I'm trying to win at all costs. Now I can play with the family and just have fun, but where my passion is that competitive, just trying to win.
So I know you're a teaching pro. Are you playing professionally, Carl?
No, no. The teaching pro is just the title of um, just a professional in that I know the game, I can teach it fairly well, but I'm certainly not the pro level. I think that like a touring pro, we have a pro at the Michigan Athletic Club that does play like professional events, and you have to be like above a five, most touring pros are in that 5-6 level, 5.7, 5.7 in the rating system, and I'm not close to that, but I'm trying. I'm really trying.
So what got you the bug to teach?
Well, I've always liked teaching. I like training my crew at the firehouse. And maybe the crux of it is, especially with pickleball, even before I was an instructor, I wanted to teach everybody I knew how to play because I wanted them to feel what I felt. It's just the joy of the game and just how fun it is. So I just really enjoyed that. And by the time the end of my firefighting career started to get closer and closer, I thought, well, I need to do something. I'm too young to not do something. And I thought, well, what the heck? I can teach pickleball lessons, and when I was just out of high school, I used to teach tennis lessons every once in a while. And hang on one second. Sorry, I'm getting I used to teach tennis lessons a bit, just for college pizza money at that time. But I thought, there's a real opportunity here because even though pickleball is exploding, it's still a pretty small population that actually are playing. I mean, if you look around, kids haven't even really started playing yet. And that's going to be one heck of a conundrum when that happens because, as you know, court space is pretty limited. So when the kids start playing, it's going to be hard to get court time.
Well, I wonder how far away we are from high schools and colleges adapting it, the NCAA bringing it on board, the Michigan High School Athletic Association bringing it on board. I wonder how far we are away from that.
Oh, it's happening. like North Carolina, I know for sure it's big in college. I mean, there's college national championships on ESPN and whatnot now. Um, Michigan State University has a very, very popular pickleball club where they travel and play Purdue and other colleges that have club sports as well. Holt High School has a pickleball club. A friend of mine is their coach. I saw on Facebook just the other day that there's some schools in the Grand Rapids area that are starting to find this, and I just think it'd be wonderful because so many kids can really take advantage of this, and it won't be long until there's scholarships out there for pickleball.
Carl, how big is pickleball in Michigan?
Well, it's huge. I don't know. I mean, every community, if you look around now, every community that has tennis courts has put some lines on their tennis courts now for pickleball because tennis courts tend to sit empty. It is what it is, and so if a community is going to spend millions of dollars on an athletic surface, you can bet they're going to put pickleball lines on there because everybody's playing. So it's growing by the day. I mean, the amount of students we see at the Michigan Athletic Club grows all the time. It's harder and harder to get court time. That's certainly an issue that private facilities run into because of the popularity.
Speaking of court time, Jesse Stepcat had told me that there are some pretty big clubs and cool clubs in Ann Arbor, one's being built in Grand Rapids. So it looks as she's building a new facility. So entrepreneurs are looking into this.
Yeah, yeah, there's definitely more and more facilities all over the place. At the Michigan Athletic Club, we have 16 indoor-outdoor courts. In the summertime, we take the dome off, so there's 16 outside, and then there's 8 inside. There's several other local places that have some indoor courts. When you look at the larger cities, yeah, there's some massive facilities going up. I'm not sure. There's certainly a number, and Jesse could tell you better. There's a number that you could have it be too large a space and too expensive. Because if you think about it, when you're playing doubles is predominantly the game. So you've got 4 people on a court. If you're building a multi-million-dollar space and you can only have 50 people participating at one time, there's got to be some cost there. And so I think some of these other places are going to have to attach, whether it be a bar and restaurant or, volleyball or cornhole or some other things to make revenue. That's how I would look at it.
So, Carl, in a couple of weeks, my wife and I are going to be at a clinic that you're going to teach, and then we're also going to join another couple for a lesson with you just to learn more about the game. So for beginners like me, when they go to these clinics, when they get the one-on-one training, or in this case, the 1-on-4, where do you start? What do you teach?
Well, first of all, I teach the rules. You got to start there. So I teach the size of the court, the rules of the service, the bounce rule. If you haven't heard that one yet, the serve has to bounce, the return has to bounce, and then you can take the ball out of the air. So you got to start with some sort of foundation, and then we just go over the basic shots. The counterintuitiveness of pickleball is that the winning strategy is a softer game, being able to hit a ball at your opponent that they cannot then attack you with. And that's counterintuitive to almost every other sport, especially with a racket in your hand. I mean, most racket sports, it's a grip it and rip it kind of atmosphere. And although the way of professional pickleball and higher end pickleball is getting faster, the speed ups are happening, the hands battles, they call them, are happening. At the recreational level, it still pays huge dividends to just be able to hit a softball.
Well, it reminds me of golf in the aspect of, I had this friend who just became a golf junkie, and he was buying all the gear and the clubs and the clothes and all that. And I was listening to a conversation. I've played 7 times so far, and these people are buying paddles, and there's clothing you can buy, and the eye protection and all that. So this is big business, isn't it?
Oh, it sure is. It sure is. I mean, there are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of paddle makers out there. I liken it to shoes. I mean, if you tried my paddle, I think I've got the best paddle in the world. But if you tried it, it might not be for you. And that's the beauty of it. That there's such a huge variety, and they can fit your game just like golf clubs. There's power paddles or control paddles. There's we started off with the 4-pack from Amazon for like $20. And,
Yeah.
I got relatively good quickly, and so I went to the local sports store and bought like the $60 paddle. Well, there wasn't much of a difference, so I basically wasted the $60. It looks like, from my perspective, if you fall in love with the sport, it's worth investing, 150 plus into a quality paddle because it does make a difference.
Yeah, something you and I had initially talked about, Carl, and Jesse Stipkak mentioned this too, is how people are scheduling pickleball events instead of golf and other events. I think that's pretty cool.
Oh, it's amazing. The learning curve. I mean, the learning curve with pickleball, it's easy to get pretty good, and then it's really hard to get really good. So that's kind of the neat part about it, is that a huge portion of the population can get fairly good and have a great time. Whereas you can imagine, there's a lot of people I've seen on a golf course that just melt down because golf is the margin for error is so small. And there's a much larger margin for error in pickleball, especially recreationally, that everybody can enjoy it.
Carl, when it comes to pickleball, is it big around the world?
Oh yeah, yeah, blowing up in Asia. The PPA, the professional tour, the largest professional tour in America, was just in Australia for their event a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it's definitely blowing up.
Yeah, I watched that on ESPN. I thought it was insane, some of these athletes and how they were playing, especially when you get those 20 hit rallies. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, it's super fun. I highly recommend going to the pro events in Grand Rapids. They host a beer. It's called the Beer City Open, and just to be there, the pros are very accessible. You get to be right next to them while they're playing and watch these rallies. It's amazing.
One of the final questions I wanted to ask you, Carl, and I don't know if you have the answer to this, but who invented the game? How did it start? I did a little research and I found that a couple of guys were looking for something to do on a vacation and they kind of made this game up. What do you know of the origin of the game?
Well, you're pretty close. So I believe it's the Seattle area. There was several families vacationing on this island, and as the story goes, the dads would come home from playing golf, and they would hear about their kids complaining all day that there's nothing to do, and here they're on this island on vacation. Well, they went to the shed and found some sports supplies, and what they found was the wiffle ball, the badminton net, and on the beach, the paddle ball, those wooden paddles.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so they set the badminton net on the ground at ground height, like you'd see it on a tennis court. And I would guess over trial and error, they developed the court size, and then the kitchen aspect, not being able to get too close, is vital. I mean,
Hmm.
you can imagine if you and I are 3 inches apart,
Yeah.
the game loses its fun, right? It's
Yeah.
not fun anymore. So I think over trial and error, they found these rules to work. Now the pickle part is rowing was big out there, and so it's my understanding that one of the wives mentioned that in rowing you've got boat number one, or the varsity boat, you've got the JV boat, and then you've got the pickle boat, which is the athletes that are left over that weren't quite good enough for the competition, right? Well, they're using the junk athletic supplies from the shed. So she said, one of them says, let's call it pickleball.
Hmm. Uh, Appreciate the lesson, Carl. Before I let you go, if folks really want to learn a little bit more about the game through your clinics and through your teaching, where can they go?
Well, you can definitely go to the Michigan Athletic Club. We take members, guests. We have all kinds of programming there. And in the Clinton County area, I teach. You can contact me on Facebook at Carl Pawluk Pickleball Academy, and I'd be happy to get you pointed in the right direction.
Okay, we've been talking with Carl Pawluk, and that's spelled Pawluk. He's a pickleball teaching pro. Carl, I appreciate you so much. Look forward to meeting you and look forward to taking your classes. Thanks so much for your time.
My pleasure, Tony. Thank you.
I'm Tony Conley. We appreciate you listening to our show so much. We'll be back next week. We want to thank Benjamin Robinson, who is our operations manager and producer and editor. He does everything for the show. We appreciate him greatly. We'll see you next time here on Pickleball Michigan and beyond.
Thanks for listening to Pickleball Michigan and Beyond. Follow us on Facebook and check out our website, pickleballmichiganandbeyond.com.